Welcome to the Green-Eyed Ram. Today I'm going to talk to you about some fun things. First of all, I'm going to make a, let me see, what am I doing first? Oh yeah. First of all, I'm going to make goat butter from my own goat's milk, and I want to introduce you to my goats. Let's start there. So what do you need to make goat's milk butter? A goat. Actually, you need goat's milk, and you can purchase it, but I happen to have goats, so I use fresh goat's milk. And generally, I've read that most people, my dog is in her dish, they use a centrifuge of some sort to separate the cream from the milk, but I find she is such a high butterfat content Saanen goat that I don't have to do that. I just wait a couple of days and the milk separates, rises to the top, and I scoop it off. And after that, I'll show you the process. These are the two babies, and they are standing on the stanchion. They're coming to say hello. Now, can you see why I needed to put the upper portion on here? Because they kept eating my trees. And I planted all these amazing trees around the edge of their corral, but there's nothing left because goats, yes, I'm talking about you guys, eat everything. Now, this is Mama. She's adorable. She's my milker. And these are her babies. I have one boy, and he's got these little danglies. I don't know what they're called. And they are determined and hungry right now. They think I have treats for them, but I don't. So, let's see. What can I tell you about these goats? They're awesome, first of all. They are so awesome. They're really super friendly. And the babies are just shy of a year. I think they'll be, they're probably like 10 months old. Yes, you. I'm talking about you. And the mama, I milk her once a day, first thing in the morning, and she gives me about 1.5 liters, about 1,500 mils of most amazing milk. And the milk, hello. Here she is. Oh, hello. The milk is so creamy and delicious, and is really amazing. So I'm going to show you how I make goat's milk. Here we go. So what I've done is I bent a spoon, and basically you reach in and you'll see the top surface area is a little thicker. I'm not sure if you can pick that up. You can see how it sticks to the spoon a bit. That's the cream. So it separates off, and then I just pour that into my jar. And you can see how it sticks. It's really definitely the cream portion because it's super thick. As you scoop off the cream and pour it into your container, you'll notice, and I don't know that this will pick up quite so well, but the color will change in when you reach the milk portion. It becomes definitely thinner, and so the cream has risen to the top. And so basically what I do with my little bent spoon is I scoop off. You're able to see a change in the level, and I can't see it on this particular one, but sometimes you'll see the change where the milk is ridden, and you'll have an idea how far down you need to go. So once I've scooped off all of the cream and put it into here. This is my Ninja. Put my little Ninja on, and basically what I do is I just pulse it. I'm not going to spend the whole time doing that because A, it's kind of boring, and B, it's really loud. So you pulse it, and I'm going to show you the difference of what you're going to see here. The cream is here, and as it thickens, you're going to get what looks like whipped cream, right? Well, if whipped cream is what you want, then use that for your whipped cream. But if you've ever whipped cream too long, you'll see what happens next. So I'm going to blend this for a little while, and I'll get back to you showing you exactly what the next stage is and how the sound changes. As the whipped cream, as the cream whips, it also gets stuck to the top. And so what I do periodically, rather than bashing my machine, I just take them and bang it down. Now it's got a little lid, which makes it super nice, and I really should clean that off. Whoops, one-handed is not so easy. Okay. So basically, tap it down so that all the whipped cream will start being in the body of the remainder cream. Now you can see that the fat or the cream that was in there is no longer sticking to the edges. Like the whipped cream is no longer on top, and the fat particles have actually separated. So let's take a look and I'll show you what that looks like. You can see there's a liquid, clear, well, not clear, but it's definitely not whipped cream. So the fat molecules have separated from the milk, and usually at this point I give it a couple of whacks more just to make sure everybody's done. And the next step is after I take this and carefully pour out. You can see some of the fat milk, the butter is going with it, but usually I do this two-handed, and at this point I'm not. So just pour out that buttermilk. Now here's my trick. Okay, so there's all the butter that's left. Now what I do is I add cold water and actually an ice cube. Filled it up about halfway, and I've put an ice cube in there, and basically I replace the lid, cover it up, and I shake it. And basically what I'm doing right now is washing off any of the milk from the butter. So I give it a good shake, and after it's shook, it will start to kind of get more milky looking. There you can see the ice cube is right there. That's to keep it nice and cold and to keep the butter from melting. It's not a warm day today, so I'm not really worried about that. So let me give it a two-hand shake and show you what happens. So after a bit of two-hand shaking, now you can see it's starting to form a ball. And I will pour off this water and put fresh water in to rinse it yet again. After the second rinsing, you can see the water is not as white or milky, and the butter is sticking together. Now I'll transfer it into my little container here. And basically, I don't know if I can do this one-handed, probably not. Let me rinse this out and put it in here and show you what happens next. So now that the butter's been pressed into its shape, you'll notice, see the liquid? That, as you press it, will the water will escape. And notice how beautiful white this is. It is white, and you wonder, why is goat's milk white? Well, goat's milk is white because goats are so amazing at converting their food that the keratin is not left in their buttermilk, in their milk. So because they process it so well, it's not there. So the fats that are in the butter are white. You do this exact same thing with cream from a cow, and it will be yellow. It's quite a fun thing to watch. It go from white to yellow. But then I just wrap it up, date it, cover it up, put it in the fridge, and it's good to go. Goat's milk, butter, super, super easy. Now that you've seen how easy it is to make goat butter, let me give you a recipe on how you can use that goat butter in making an apple rhubarb pie. For my dough, I use 2.5 cups of flour, 255 grams of goat milk butter, a tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and nothing else except for this wonderful machine. And I'll show you how that works. Just to mix up the sugar and the salt. That's it, nothing more. Okay, so on to preparing the butter, and ice cold water is the trick. Ice butter, ice water. The nice chunks of butter waiting for the water. 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen carefully, it's going to change. You need to listen carefully because the motor sounds are going to change, and that's when you know your dough is ready. Hear that change? Now it's going to mix up. Pause it. See, it's starting to get connected or formed. Down here it's still powdery. Okay. Now we're going to stop because I don't want to overmix. So let me show you what it's holding together. But my trick is literally dump it onto the counter, form it into a ball without working it too much, and put it in a Ziploc bag. I give it a nice gentle smushing with a rolling pin. Obviously I do this with 2 hands until it's flat. I'll show you that. See, the Ziploc bag is full. It's flat. It's about maybe 1/2 inch thick, and it's going to go right into the fridge. I don't want to leave it out. I don't want it to warm up. I want to keep that butter that was frozen cold, and I don't work it too much. And the reason I fill the Ziploc bag is later I'm going to make 2 crusts, and I want to cut down the middle. I don't want to have to press on it and work it too much to spread it out. You'll see. To make my apple rhubarb pie, I have 5 stalks of rhubarb, 4 apples, 1/2 lemon, some goat's milk butter, and a cup of sugar. Here we go. Into the pot the apples go. Now I just wanted to show you how big my slices are. So all the apples will go in, and all the rhubarb will go in. Good. The remaining rhubarb. Squeeze in the lemon juice. Pour in a cup of sugar and turn it on low and simmer away. You'll notice as it starts to cook down, it will release its own juices, so you don't need to add any water or anything to it. So keep cooking. See now that there's quite a bit of fluid, and I haven't added anything. Over here I have mixed 2 tablespoons of flour with a little bit of water, and I'm going to mix that in there, and it's going to help thicken and congeal the whole thing when it's baked. And you continue cooking until the rhubarb and the apples are soft but not mushy, because you want to continue to bake that in the pie, so you want it to have a little bit of firmness prior to going in the oven. Just spoon the mixture into the prepared pan, into your pastry, and don't worry about all that juice. We're going to use it in a minute. So now I'm making my lattice work over the top. Now remember, this is a rustic pie, so it's not perfect. Nor do I care that it's perfect, because it's all going to blend together and be awesomeness. And sometimes I will just not even worry about it, because I'm going to put all of the pieces on and in and under. It doesn't really matter, because it's the yumminess that counts. Okay. So now I'm going to use the juices from the pan to basically baste the top of the pie crust with all this lovely rhubarb apple juice. And then the final step before it goes in the oven is to sprinkle it with sugar. All over. So when you cut this baby, you're going to get a mouthful of yumminess all over. Now that it's completed, the sauce is on it, the sugar is sprinkled, into the oven, 165 degrees Celsius, 45 minutes. Here we go. And now, after this wonderful cook, we wait until it's cool enough, and then we can cut it and enjoy it. Ah, I waited. See, nothing's dripping. I waited. So, I am going to cut this pie. And, let's see. And the reason I like to use the goat milk butter is it really helps to, well, because I have it for one thing, but I've discovered that I love the flakiness that comes from using the goat milk butter. It is super flaky, and hopefully I can get one piece out whole, or not. Oh, look at that. The bottom didn't come. But hey, you know what? It all tastes good and it all is yumminess. But it's pretty much, so you can see, holding itself together. So the important things to remember when making pie crust, everything needs to be super, super cold, like ice cold. And then refrigerate the dough before you bake it. But you can see just how flaky everything is. It's just super flaky, and I might eat this and save that for the family. Probably not. Thank you for joining me today on the Green-Eyed Ram. If you are a subscriber and been here before, thank you very much for joining me again. And if this is your first time, thank you for taking the time to spend with me today and find out who really is the Green-Eyed Ram. That's me. Bye. See you next time.